Good morning, my neighbors, again. So, I was coming back from the shops the other day, and yesterday or the day before, not sure which day it was, and I passed by some kids, right? So they were talking. It was two girls. So this one girl was telling the other one. I don't know what they were talking about, so I just cut the conversation at this particular point. And the girl was saying, "Yo, that's a very dangerous thing that kids are not supposed to know. Right? That kids are not supposed to know about." And she was so, because I was passing them as she was saying, and I could see the conviction. Like she was so convinced about whatever it was. Like she knew this is definitely not for kids, whatever they were talking about. And like so many things were going through my mind. I was curious. First of all, I was curious what they were talking about, you know. And I was thinking, that's probably something a grown-up told her about whatever the thing was. And so she's spreading the gospel, you know, to her friend. She's like, "Nah, man, that's not for us." And you know, the more I thought about it, the more I realized. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I realized I think that's the carelessness. You'll have to forgive me. Sometimes I just say words that come, and they're not always like the best, the most palatable. But please bear with me. I'm just saying things how I'm seeing them, right? So I think that's the carelessness that adults, that's the carelessness of us adults. I didn't want to just say parents, no, adults. I'm thinking that's probably something that was probably something that the grown-up didn't know how to talk to the kid about. Didn't know how to talk to the kid about the thing. And so they were like, "You know what? I'm not ready to deal with this now. So we'll deal with this later." And then the kid is like, "Okay, so I have to be more grown." But you know, so the carelessness is now the reality that happens up with a lot of things. But the reality on the ground is how many grown-ups come back on those many things, come back and tell the kid that, okay, now you're grown enough to have we can have the conversation. So those are things that usually get buried. Those are conversations that never get had. Those are the conversations that never get had. So the kid is going to grow up with those conversations, and they're going to try to figure that stuff out for themselves, right? Now, these kids were about what? I don't know, 6, 7, 8, because they were small. So 6, 7, 8, right? Let's say by the time they're 14. And happy this is Africa. Hey, parents, they're not about to have those kinds of conversations with kids. I mean, about certain things, you know? Yeah, they're not trying to have those conversations. So now, kid is 14 now. Kid is 14. They've probably learned some stuff on the subject. But they haven't yet been told it's okay for us to talk about this now. So now these are the secrets we carry. So so you find, as we're at, there's stuff that we're learning, that everybody sees us learning. And then there's stuff that we're learning in secret as well. The stuff that kids are learning is in secret. I mean, we went through the same thing too, you know. So I'm just relating to kids. I'm realizing, because now that I'm older and wiser, I'm realizing that you're always a kid. You're always a kid. just with more experience. Now, some people take growing up more seriously than others, you know? They lose the playfulness and all that stuff. And that's usually now when the connection to the kids is lost. Because now, that's where now grown-ups assume that, you know what? You can't tell me nothing. Right? This is it. Grown-ups, they're like, you can't tell me nothing. I'm going to tell you everything. Right? Because what's another like common phenomenon, right? That happens. You know how teens are rebellious? Teens are rebellious, right? Teens are rebellious. It's because children are not being treated as human beings. They're being treated as children. So they're not being treated as equals by adults, basically. Okay? Yeah. Children are not being treated as equals. So the thing is, we assume because of the small size, this thing is just ready to always take. And that may be the case when it's a baby. It may seem like it. But have you noticed how even babies disagree with us? So babies disagree. And now this is where frustration happens. When parents are like, I don't know, this kid. But what does the kid know? So what should your attitude be? Don't assume you know. Don't assume you know and ask. So I guess this is now the solution for the adults, I'm thinking. Yeah, this is now so because the thing is, I'm seeing that grown-ups assume they know. So whenever that interaction happens, they don't even check. They don't first check to see if this being is coming to receive or to give. Here's how I imagine like the perfect discipline happening between a kid, a parent and a child. Don't do that thing. Why shouldn't I do that? Well, you shouldn't do that because this and this and that is going to happen. And when that happens, this is what's going to happen. Do you see? Then the kid is like, yeah, I see how that's going to happen. And then when that happens, I don't like that. You see? You see how the things happen? And then they lead to that. That's the thing that I don't want. So that's why I don't want you to get it. Then the kid is like, so when I do this, it's going to lead to that. And that's what you don't want. So that's why you don't want me to do this. Then the kid is like, but I really want to do this. Is there a way I can do this? And then we can prevent that from happening. Now look at the negotiation. Look at the negotiation. And then the parent's like, interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I had just been thinking about the thing I didn't want. Let's see. And then now it becomes a discussion. Throwing ideas, a brainstorm session, right? And like, until they figure out how the kid can have what they want without realizing the adverse effects that the parent doesn't want. And then everybody's happy. The kid gets to enjoy, gets to satiate, to satisfy, satiate. Did I use it properly? I don't know. To satisfy their curiosity, as far as the thing goes, minus the negative effects. Actually, sometimes all a kid really needs is a parent's supervision while they are doing the thing they want. Usually the problems arise when parents would rather be doing something else. And so they really don't have time for the kids. They really have no time for the kids. And so because they don't want to be there to watch over, to make sure everything goes the way it should, they would rather the kid not do the thing at all. But now the problem is, this is where now the relationships get messed up. Because these things build up. Because it's one thing one day. Then it's like, okay, you irritated me, but I love you. Because, check this out. When we're babies, our parents are actually our friends when we're babies, when we're kids. We play with them, they play with us. They play with us. At some point, the playing stops, and then it gets all serious. And then the rest of life now just becomes what? I love you, but I don't like you. I really don't like you. That's where now teenagers would rather hang out with their friends, because the parent is now just a parent. You're no longer a friend. We used to be friends, but that time is gone. We got serious now. Man, I want to stay friends with my kids, right? Yeah, I want to stay friends with my kids. So it means I have to stay in touch with my inner child. So it means when I meet a child, I can't assume that I know everything. I can't assume that I know everything. And why is that? This is now where it gets a bit esoteric, spiritual and stuff like that. Our souls are old. Only our bodies are as old as they are. You know what I mean? But our souls are old. What's intuition? What is intuition? How do you get wisdom that you didn't acquire from outside, but it manifests inside you? Don't take that for granted. Such are the realities that people just explain off as coincidence or, those things, hella. That's magic. Okay, that's magic. So there's magic inside you. Think about